Hello, today I'll be doing a video on Ready Set Bet. As you can see here, I got this game for Christmas this year. It was a game that I had put on my wish list. I'd heard good things about it, that it was a good family, quick family type game, and I figured maybe I could get my wife and daughter and some other folks to play it with me. And I have played it a couple times. We'll talk about that when I give my thoughts on it at the end. But let's get started with how to set up. First thing you'll do is place what's known as the bet board in the center of the table. Next you'll take this deck of cards, the prop bet deck. You'll place it up here at the top of the bet board where it says prop bets, and then deal out one to each of the 5 spaces, like so. Next you'll take the exotic finish cards. There's not too many of them, but you'll shuffle them up, place them here at the bottom of the bet board where it says exotic finish, and deal the first one out to the space that says race 1. Next you'll take this VIP deck, shuffle it, place it at the bottom of the bet board here where it says VIP. Next you'll place your money chips in a supply somewhere nearby. I've just got mine in these token holders that I've 3D printed. You've got 1s, 5s, 25s, and 100s. Next you'll place your black and white bonus bet tokens somewhere near the board. Next you'll select somebody to be in charge of running the horse races, and you'll place the racetrack board near them. The person running the horse races will be known as the house, and in the standard game they don't participate in the rest of the game in betting. They just run the horse races. There is a variant where they can bet prior to all the other players betting. We'll talk about that at the end. And then of course there is an app that takes the place of this, which is actually how I've played so that everybody could play. But we'll go ahead and talk about how the standard game first works, and I'll show the app at the end if that's something that you'd rather use. You give the house player 2 dice and the 9 horse meeples. They'll then set the horses in their proper spots in the green starting spaces, like so. All of the horses are now in their starting spots. You then give each non-house player their set of 5 bet tokens. They should have a 2, 2 3s, a 4, and a 5. So if you're setting up for a 3-player game, not including the house player, so 3 non-house players, this is how they would be set, with 5 bet tokens. If you were playing with 7 or 8 non-house players, each player would return one of their number 3 bet tokens to the box. Place the 6 win, place, and show tokens somewhere near the board. If you're playing with a variant where the house player is going to participate in the betting, you give him the 6 house bet tokens. Otherwise you just leave those out. And that completes setup. We're ready to get on with how to play. Alright, so how do we play? Well, the game is played in 4 rounds. In each round the house player will run the race if you're using the house player. Otherwise the app will run the race. But the house player will run the race simultaneously. As the house player is running the race, the non-house players will place bets. When the race is over, the non-house players will resolve their bets, and then there'll be a cleanup phase of the round. So let's first talk about how the house player runs the race. Alright, the house player will pick up the 2 dice and he'll begin the race by announcing, and they're off, and then he starts rolling the dice. He'll look at the sum of the dice and announce that, so he'll say 8. He'll announce that out loud, and then he'll move the corresponding horse. So if he rolled an 8, he'll move the 8 horse, which is this one right here, 1 space forward. And then he'll roll the dice again. 4, and he'll announce that out loud, and then he'll move the 4 horse forward, and so on. Now you'll notice here on this side of the racetrack, behind each horse, you'll see a number that's the bonus move number. If a horse's number is rolled twice in a row, they go ahead and move the 1 space forward plus the bonus move. So for instance, the 2-3, if you rolled a 2, you would move 1 space forward, and if in the next roll you rolled a 2 or a 3, you would move 1 space forward plus the bonus move of 3. The 4 horse, if you rolled a 4, it would move 1 space forward, and then if you rolled a 4 the next roll, it would move the 1 space forward plus the 3 bonus. The 5 horse just has a bonus move of 2. The 6 horse just has a bonus move of 1. The 7 horse does not have a bonus move since it's the most rolled number. The 8 has a bonus move of 1. The 9 has a bonus move of 2. The 10 has a bonus move of 3, and this one's the 11 and 12. So again, if you rolled an 11 or a 12, this horse would move 1. If you rolled either an 11 or a 12 the next roll, it would move 1 plus the bonus 3. Now if you rolled that number again a third time in a row, it would not get the bonus move. It would just move the 1 space forward. But if you rolled that number again, in the unlikely event you rolled that number again a fourth time in a row, then it would go ahead and move and get its bonus move. So the house will continue doing this at a pretty fast pace, announcing out loud. They can embellish and say, oh, the number 4 takes the lead, and then roll, 6, and the 6 moves 1, and then we got a 10. The 10 finally leaves the starting gate, and embellish it as much as they want. And the house will continue doing this at a fast pace. Well, at the same time, the players are simultaneously betting. So let's talk about how the players bet. So the players have their bet tokens here. As I mentioned, they've got a number 2, 2 number 3s, unless you're playing with 7 or 8 players, when they'll only have 1 number 3, a 4, and a 5. So they can place these bet tokens as the races being run by the house, and they decide, which horse they're watching the race and decide, and maybe they think the number 6 horse is going to win, so they can place a bet token here in the win. You've got places for the win, the horse you think is going to win, the horse you think is going to place, which means come in second, or first you think that horse is going to come in first or second, and there's a couple of spots where you can place for show, which is if you think that horse is going to come in first, second, or third. Now each space can only have 1 token on it, so if the blue player places their token here, where they think they're betting that the number 6 horse is going to win, then the yellow player here cannot place their token there. If they think the number 6 horse is going to win, they could place here, and maybe the gray player thinks the number 6 horse is going to win, then they're going to place theirs there. Then no more players could place bets on that horse to win. Now, the blue player could place, all his bets on there. Again, it's first come, first serve, so the first player that bets on these spaces, first player that puts their token there, is the one that gets that space. The other, as I said, another player cannot place their bet token on top of somebody else's bet token. Normally, there may be a card, which we'll talk about later, VIP cards, that may give you a power to do that, but normally only 1 token can be placed on a spot. So let's talk about what these means. If the number 6 horse, if after the race is finished and you're going to resolve the bets, these pay out. So if the 6 horse did win, depending on the chip you numbered, you multiply 3 times the number of the chip you placed on here. So 3 times 3, this blue player would get 15 in chips, 15 value worth of chips for this bet. If the 6 horse won, the player in blue player had this chip placed here, they would get 5 times 3. So again, 15 in value of chips. And if they had this here and this horse won, they would get 4 times 3, 12. Now, that's if you're right. If this horse did not win and you had bets placed here, well, here you wouldn't have to lose anything. But here it's got this red -1. So if you bet that the 6 was going to win, you would have to pay 1 coin, 1 value in chips. And if you bet on this spot with the -2 and the 6 horse did not win, then you would have to pay 2 value worth of chips. And again, that's the same here for betting that the horse will finish first or second, and here betting the horse will finish first, second, or third. So again, it's just the multiplying the number on the board times the number on your chip. Or if you're not right and this horse didn't come in first, second, or third, then you pay the amount shown there. There are some other type of bets you can do. You can just, a player can place a chip here, betting that a blue horse will win, so any blue horse. Again, these spaces can only have one player's chip on them, so if a player's the first one to place theirs on there, nobody else can place a bet on there. This one you're betting that an orange horse will win, this one you're betting that a red horse will win, and this one you're just betting that the 7 horse will finish in 5th place or worse. The prop bet cards that are up here are similar, only one bet can be placed on them. On this one you would be betting that the 9 horse is going to finish ahead of the 6 horse. This one you're betting that the 2-3 horse would be finishing ahead of the 6 horse. This one that you're betting that the 7 horse would finish ahead of all the blue horses. This one you'd be betting that the 10 horse finishes better than the 9 horse. And this one you're betting that the 2-3 horse finishes better than the 5 horse. Now you're not saying they're going to win or place or show. You're just saying they're going to come in better than those other horses. And of course this is the multiplier depending on the chip, or this is the amount you pay if you're wrong. Finally, we have the exotic bets down here, which can actually have 3 different players bet. One player cannot put more than one of their bet chips on this card, but they have different, you're betting different things. So if you place one of your chips on this one, you're betting the 3rd place horse loses by 3 or fewer spaces. So you could place one of your chips on there. Again, up to 3 different players can make that bet. If you're right, you get 5 times the number on the chip you bet. If you're wrong, you have to pay 3. And at the beginning of each race, you'll deal out another exotic finish card. So by the 4th race, you'll have 4 possible exotic finish cards you can bet on. We'll talk more about those and the prop bets when we get to the cleanup phase. So right now we're just talking about how you can bet. Just for another example, if the bets were like this and the 9 horse did finish in first, he won. This player he bet for the 9 horse to win, so he would get 4 times 5, he would get 20. This player bet that the 9 horse would come in first or second, so he was right because it did win. He's right, it did come in first or second, so he would get 5 times 3, 15. And this player bet that the 9 horse would show, so he's betting that it would come in first, second, or third. So he is correct because it won. So he wins that bet. 3 times 2, he would win 6. So while the house player is running the race, players will all simultaneously be placing their chips down on horses. They'll be watching them. Maybe they put one down because the 8-horse took an early lead. They think the 8-horse is going to win. Well, later the 8-horse falls behind. So, maybe they say, oh, well, it looks like the 7-horse is going to win. So they throw a bet down there. So they'll just all be betting at the same time. Of course, the other players will be placing bets also. So you have to be worried about them taking spots that you wanted, but you also got to pay attention to the race to see if leads are changing. After a third horse has crossed this red line here, the house player will announce no more bets. So once a third horse has crossed the red line here, no more bets may be placed. And then the house player will go ahead and finish out, rolling until one horse moves on the finish line. Once one horse has moved onto the finish line, then the race ends and the house player will place out the win, place, and show token. So if it finished like this, with the 6-horse finishing first, the house player would take the first win, place, and show token and place it there. Then it looks like the number 4-horse finished second, so they would take this and place it here to show that they didn't win, but they came in second, so they'll pay for place and show bets. And the horse that came in third, which is the 2-3, they would take this and place it here to show that they'll pay on any show bets. All the other horses did not come in first, second, or third, so any bets on them would be losing bets. As the house player is running the race, if he rolls a 2 snake eyes, he needs to announce that out loud. Or if he rolls a 12 boxcars, he needs to announce boxcars out loud, because some VIP cards that players will get will pay out on snake eyes or boxcars. And again, we'll talk more about VIP cards here in just a second. If 2 or more horses tie for second place, then they are considered to both come in second and third, or they're both considered to place and show. So there would be no third place. So in this case, if it finished like this with the 6 came in first, the house player would place the first place on the 6-horse. And then if the 4 and the 5 tied for second, then the house player would place these tokens here, showing that the 4 and the 5 horse, the horses are showed here, they both tied for second. So they tie for second and third. So then there is no third place placed. If instead there's a tie for third, like in this instance, the 6-horse won, the 4-horse placed came in second, and there was a tie for third between the 2-3 and the 5-horse, the house player would place the win on the 6. He would place the place on the 4-horse, and then for the 2, 3, and 5, remember the 2, 3 is one horse. So the 2, 3, and 5 tied for third, or placed, or showed, I mean. They would both, the 2, 3 would get a show, and the 5 would get a show. So they would tie and both pay for showing or coming in third. All right, so again, after the race is finished, after one horse has won, and the house player places the tokens out that show how the horse is finished, then all bets are resolved. You resolve winning bets first, all winning bets first, and then all losing bets are resolved after that. After all bets are resolved, first thing you do is replace all the prop bet cards. You can just leave them there and deal out 5 new prop bet cards on top of them. I usually clean them off and then deal out 5 new prop bet cards, like so. Next, you reveal an exotic finish, a new exotic finish card. Next, the house player will deal 2 VIP cards to each player. They'll choose one to keep and one to return. This one would allow this player to get the white bonus bet token, 5 bonus bet token. So that they just take that and they're allowed to now bet with that on future races. It works just like another bet token. However, you see it has this other -2 on it. So if they place a losing bet with this here, they would have to pay this 3 coins plus an additional 2. So it has it gives them an extra token to bet with, but it does have a penalty if it's a losing bet. And similarly, this one is the number 7 black bonus bet token, so they would be able to get this one. And you can see it, it gives you a higher multiplier if you bet with it and win, but if you lose with it, you lose 5 in addition to any other loss value on the space you bet. Here, if you lost, if this was not a winning bet, you would have to pay 8. So again, each player will choose one to keep, place it in front of them. If it was a bonus bet token, they would collect that bonus bet token. The one they did not choose would just go into a collective discard pile. So each player will be dealt 2. They choose one to keep, return the other one to the collective discard pile. The VIP cards are not all bonus bet tokens. There is other things, and we'll see that when we go through the example rounds. Finally, the house player will reset all the horse meeples on the racetrack. And prepare for the next race, where he'll announce, and they're off, and he'll start rolling. You'll do that for 4 races. At the end of the 4th race, after resolving bets, all players will sum up their money, and the player with the most money wins. If players tie for the most money, then they share the victory. Now I will mention, starting with the 2nd race, as I mentioned, you get dealt 2 VIP cards and you keep 1. So starting with the 3rd race, you'll also get dealt 2 VIP cards and choose one to keep. And you keep the VIP card you had from the additional race as well. So by the end of the 4th race, you'll have 3 VIP cards. Alright, that's pretty much how the game works. Let's talk real quick about a couple of variants for the house player. As I mentioned, there is a variant where the house player can participate in the betting by using their house bet tokens. The way this variant works is, first of all, the house player starts with 18 money, which all the other players do not start with any money. So the house player starts with 18 money. Then before each race, they can place bets by using these house bet tokens, and they can place them in the top left corner of any bet spot, including exotic finish cards or prop bet cards. And they're just placing bets. They've got 6 of them, and they have number on them, so they'll pay the multiplier. Like if this one was correct, that would pay 5 times 3, 15. If they have one in a space that has a penalty, if that's a losing bet, they still pay the penalty. Now the only thing is, these bet tokens, they place them before the start of the race, so they really have no idea how the race is going to be going. And the other thing is, the spots where they place their house bet tokens do not block another player from placing a bet there. So if the house player before the race placed one of their bet tokens here, another player could still place their bet token there. If the house player is participating by using his house bet tokens, he also does not draw any VIP cards during the game like the non-house players do. So then that's one optional variant. That doesn't seem very good since the house player has to bet before, the other players. I mean, before the horses are even running, so they don't really have a clue how they're going to win. So, I don't know. I guess since they start with 18, maybe that's the handicap. But that doesn't seem to be a very good way. So the other way, of course, is using the app where there is no house player. And I'll show that. So let me go ahead and do an example round where we're using a house player without using the variant where the house player bets. And then so we'll do one race that way, and then I'll do another race showing the app being the house player. And so in that case, you don't have to have a house player controlling the horses. The app does that. But let's first show it the standard way with the house player. So let me just get everything set back how it was at the beginning. All right, I think we're all set back up how we should be at the beginning of the game. So again, the house player will start. He'll say, and they're off. He'll roll 4, and he'll move the 4-horse 1. Of course, all the other players right now may be thinking, should I place a bet on the 4? And, probably not since it's just so early in the race. Meanwhile, the house player is rolling 8, and he moves the 8-horse 1. 5, and so he'll move the 5-horse 1. And of course, he may be saying some other commentary to try to spice it up. But 5, 7, 7-horse leaves the starting gate. 8, the 8-horse moves again. 8's taking the lead. 7 moves into a tie space for first place. Now, again, during this time, the other players are watching, deciding if they're ready to place a bet yet, start throwing down their bets. Maybe it's a little too early and they don't want to do it. So meanwhile, the house player is rolling 6. The 6-horse leaves the starting gate. 11, so 11-horse moves. 6, the 6-horse moves into the lead with the other players. 3-horse finally leaves the starting gate. 8-horse moves into the lead. So now maybe the blue player says, well, I think for sure the 8-horse is probably going to at least come in second place, so I'm going to throw a bet down right there for the 8-horse. And maybe the other players are thinking it's still too early to make a bet yet, so they don't do it yet. 4, so the 4-horse moves, and the house player still continuing to roll 4. So that's the 4 gets its bonus move, so it moves 1 plus 3 because it was rolled twice in a row. So 1, 2, 3. 4-horse really moves into the lead. So now all the players start thinking, the 4 might win. So maybe they're all at the same time trying to throw a bet out there on the 4-horse to win. Meanwhile, the house player is rolling snake eyes, and the 2-horse gets to move 1. And then the house player continues to roll 10. The 10-horse finally leaves the starting gate. 10 gets its bonus move, so he'll move 1 plus 3 because he's rolled twice in a row. The 10-horse moves into second place, so now the players are, the 10-horse might do something. So I'm going to bet that he at least comes in second place, says the yellow player. I'm going to bet that he at least comes in third place, and the blue player, he holds off. Meanwhile, the house player is still rolling. 5. Boxcars, the house player will yell out, and the 11, 12 horse will move. 9, the 9 horse finally leaves the starting gate. 10, the 10 horse ties for first place. 9, The 9 horse starting to make a move. 3, so the 2-3 horse will move. 11. 3. The 3 horses starting to make a move. So maybe blue thinks that the 2-3 horse is going to do something, so at least bets that it's going to come in third. Meanwhile, the house player keeps rolling. 8. Where's the 8? 7. 5. 11. 6. 6 horses making a move. 11. 11 horses really moving up. So now the players start thinking, well, maybe I better put a bet on that 11-12 horse. I think he might at least come in third. And this player says, yeah, I think I better at least throw a bet on him coming in third. And meanwhile, the house is still rolling. 5. The 5 horses coming up on the pack. What did we roll? 7. 6. 8. 5. 5 horses heading for the lead. 6. 5 and the 6 are making a go of it. 5. 11. They're all neck and neck. 4. 8. 9. 9 horse finally starting to move. 10. 10 horses tied for the lead. What did we get there? 11. They're staying neck and neck. Boxcars. Oh, and that's 11. So that's rolled 11 or 12 again. So now he gets his bonus move. 1, 2, 3. 11-12 has moved into the lead. So now they're panicking. Oh, I better bet the 11-12 to win. And this guy's saying, well, I'm going to bet that he at least comes in second. This guy's saying, yeah, I'm going to bet that he wins. Meanwhile, the house is still rolling. 7. 10. 5. Boxcars. 11 and 12 is moving toward the finish. 10. 4. 4 horses making a move. 9. 9's finally starting to do something. 7. 7's moving out of the middle of the pack. 7. Now, even though he's rolled twice in a row, he doesn't have a bonus move. 7 again. 7's making a move for the lead. 9. 7 again. 5. 5, he gets his bonus move. So he moves 1 plus 2. 5's making a move for first place. Oh crap, the blue player says with only 1 token left. I better put one on 5 to at least come in second. And the The yellow player says, yeah, I'm going to bet the 5 to win. And the gray player decides to hold on to his last bet token, but 2 horses have crossed the no bets line, so maybe that's a bad idea. 10. No more bets, because now we have 3 horses that have crossed the red line. So the gray player just loses this bet token for this race because he didn't bet it, and now they're past the 3 horses are past the no bets line, so no more bets. But we finish to see who wins. 6, 8, 6, 4, 6. 6 is making a move. 7, 4. Boy, we're all over the place here. 5. They're headed toward the finish line. 6. Uh-oh. 3 finally makes a move. The 2-3 finally makes a move. 11. They're still neck and neck. The 7. 11 again. Looks like 11's gonna win. 9. 11, and the 11 horse finishes and wins the race. Alright, so now the house player will put the first player on the 11-12 horse. For second place is the 5, so he'll place the second place show here for the 5 horse. And then we have a tie for third between the 7 and the 10. So he'll take 2 3s and put 1 on the 7 and 1 on the 10. The 2 show tokens. Alright, so all winning bets pay first. So the 11-12. So the gray player bet 3 on the in this space for the 11-12 to win. So he gets that right. So 3 times 9 is 27. So the gray player collects 27 in chips and takes his token back. Then the yellow player bet 4, and he's right. So he get 8 times 4, which is 32. So he'll take his 4 token and collect 32. So there's his or her 32. The blue player bet for that horse to come in place, which is first or second. So since that horse came in first, that's a good bet. So he wins, he or she wins. So that's 3 times 5, so 15 to the blue player. So they'll collect 15. These players bet on this horse to show, which is first, second, or third, so they're correct. So the yellow player gets 3 times 4, so they'll collect their token, take an additional 12. So they get their 12, and then the gray player bet a 2 there, so 2 times 4 is 8, so they'll collect 8. So there's 8. Alright, the blue player bet on the 5 horse to come in to place, so come in first or second. It did come in second, so this bet pays off. 5 times 3 is 15, so they'll collect 15. And then the gray player did bet on the number 10 horse to show or come in third, or first, second, or third, and it did come in third, so this bet pays off. So 5 times 3 is 15 for the gray player. So they collect their 15. Alright, so now those are all the winning bets, so now we'll look at the losing bets. The blue player bet that the 2-3 would win place or show you know, they or would come in first, second, or third, so they lose, so they got to pay 3, so they take their bet, and then they have to pay 3, so they'll put in a 5 and get back 2. Yellow player bet that the 4 horse would win. It didn't, but there's no penalty there, so they just take their chip back. The gray player bet that the 4 would win, but they didn't, but there's no penalty, so they just take their chip back. The blue player bet that the 4 would win. It didn't. There is a penalty, so now they have to pay 1. So they'll take the 1 and pay that back to the bank. The yellow player bet that the 5 would come in first. It didn't. It came in second, so they take their chip back. There's no penalty there, so they just get that. And finally, the yellow player bet that the 10 horse, it came only in third, so they are wrong there, but there's no penalty there, so they just take their chip back. Nobody bet on the photo finish, nobody bet on the blue, orange, or red, and nobody bet on the prop bets. So we finished resolving the bets. The house player would pick these up. So now we would do the cleanup, replace the 5 prop bet cards with new ones. Put out a new exotic finish card. Deal 2 VIP cards to each player. That's for the blue, that's for the yellow, that's for the gray. They'll each look at them and choose one. Alright, these are the same, so it doesn't matter which one he chooses. He'll choose this one. And he'll play it. If it's his first card, he gets 9 money or 9 in chips, so he'll get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, the yellow player has 2. They can get a bonus bet token, or they can get the side bet. If the 5 or 6 horse finish in the top 3, they'll earn extra money depending on what place they finish, or they can take the bonus bet. So I think they'll take that side bet one and just discard this one. And the gray player, oh, he got 2 of the same. So it doesn't matter which one he or she keeps. Discard that one and keep this one. When an 11 or 12 is rolled, place $1 from the supply on this card. After each race, if the 7 horse wins, lose all the money on this card, otherwise gain the money. And that money comes from the bank, not from the player. Alright, now normally the house player would reset all the horses and we'd start a new race. But for this next race, I'm just to show the app, I'm going to bring that out and show how that works if you're not using the house player. So this is the app here on my daughter's tablet. I'm not going to really do the betting and all that, but I'm just going to show how the app works. So you can select randomized game.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to Ready, Set, Bet. It's a beautiful day for another exciting series of races. Press the play button to get race number 1 started.
Now you can adjust the time between the die rolls and stuff if you go to the menu and that kind of thing, but it's set, the default is like 2 seconds between die rolls, so when you're ready you just hit go.
They're off. 8. Boxcars, 12. The number 5 stallion coming out of the gate early. The number 8 stallion makes his move into first place. 7.
So while the
The 8 horse keeps the lead.
app is playing, you know, the players will be betting.
9. The 6 horse has left the starting gate. 11. 7. 9. 6. The 8 horse keeps the lead. 4. 7. Snake Eyes, the 2-3 horse has finally left the gate. 7. 6. The 6 horse takes her back-to-back bonus. 9. The 10 horse has finally left the gate. 7. The 9 horse hangs on to its place.
So this is how the app works. So it works just like if you're playing with the regular game, and again, while the app is playing, all the players can be betting then, instead of one player having to be the house and run the horses. They can be everybody can be sitting there watching the app. And again, this can run on your phone or a tablet or computer.
5. The 10 horse giving a respectable run.
Anyway,
7.
I think you see how that works.
4.
So that's how I played with the app the 2 times that I've played. The first time I played with just my wife and my daughter and I, so of course we didn't want one of us sitting out running the race, so we all wanted to bet, so we played that. And the second time I've played it, I played with my wife and my daughter and my stepdaughter and son-in-law. And again, we used the app so we could all bet. And anyway, I think everybody, every time, the 2 times that it's been played, everybody thought it was a lot of fun. It's pretty easy, quick. You can run through 4 races, probably in 45 minutes or less. I'd say probably less, because anyway, it just depends how the dice roll and how long it takes to resolve the bets and everything. But it's definitely not a long game. So I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's simple, good family party-ish kind of game. I enjoy it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.